What's up, booze? What it do? What it do? Hey, y'all, what's up? It is your girl, a.Nichole, and today I'm coming to you all, coming with that heat, talking about one of the things that is really near and dear to my heart, and that is boundaries. Okay, and this is something that a lot of my clients, a lot of my booze tell me that they struggle with. Whether it's boundaries with their children, their significant other, family, especially in parents, everything, baby. Boundaries is boundaries, is boundaries, is boundaries. And I'm going to tell you another thing. If you don't have good boundaries with your family, especially your parents, I guarantee, them boundaries is fuck up, everywhere else. Okay, so that's why I say boundaries are universal. So I wanted to do a video for the booze. Okay, so this is 5 tips to make your boundaries stronger today, now, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, today. Okay, I'm going to talk about 5 of the biggest blunders or the biggest complaints or the biggest woo 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 stories about boundaries and what the booze have challenges about, and we debunking them today. We debunking them. All right, and we starting over with a new leaf. Okay, we trying something new today. Okay, we are pivoting. We are turning over a new leaf. Okay, so let's get into number 1. Okay. Stop explaining yourself. Set the boundary and stop fucking talking. Shut the fuck up. The period at the end of your sentence, the punctuation at the end of the sentence of you setting that boundary is your action. It's your action. Not the negotiation. That's not a boundary. Because when you start negotiating, when you start talking, when you start backing up, when you start justifying, when you start, well, and I feel, and no, you're saying, okay, yeah, I'm setting this boundary, but it's up for negotiation because I'm talking. If you think about salespeople, when they call you on that phone, as long as they keeping you on that phone, as long as you haven't hung up, you have not said no yet in their mind. That's why they're continuing to push, push, push. Same way with people. So you got to set your boundary, and baby, you got to shut the fuck up. Because every word that you say after that is ammunition for them to use against you for negotiation. And you're going to tire yourself out. And you're going to keep repeating yourself, and you're going to huff, 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 and they're going to break you down. And next thing you know, you done caved in. The boundary is so you don't do the emotional labor. The boundary is so you don't go around Robin Hood's barn justifying and explaining, because this shit should be intrinsic to motherfuckers in this day and age. Okay? Especially at a certain age. All right. So this shouldn't even be something that you should be going back and forth about. You speak what you need to say, and then you shut the fuck up. Shut up. Don't say nothing else. Okay. Let your actions do the talking. Okay. Because when you keep talking, you're telling them, okay, well, I'm talking, so this is how to convince me otherwise. And your boundaries are not negotiation points. Okay, they are your energetic bodyguards to keep you safe, to protect your peace. I say that all the time. Your boundaries are your bodyguards. When you see people out with their bodyguards and them bodyguards be bouncing them motherfuckers back, you don't see them famous people or whoever jumping up like, oh, well, let me explain why he's roughing you up. Let me explain why he's backing you up off of me. Let me explain why they're saying that you can't be in my space. No, them motherfuckers is going on business as usual. You need to be the same way. Set your shit and you go on business as motherfucking usual. Okay? Stop going around Robin Hood's barn, negotiating, explaining, justifying. No. So do this today. Okay? I want you all to practice saying, that doesn't work for me. Okay? Or I'm not available for that. Okay? and then stop talking. That doesn't work for me. If you're not ready to say no yet, fuck no yet. Okay, if you're not at the, okay, no problem. I'm gonna meet you where you are. Okay, if you're not ready to say fuck no, all right, no worries. Instead say, okay, that doesn't work for me. Okay, instead say, I'm not available for that. Okay, and then you stop talking. You let your silence do the work. You let your silence back them up. You let your silence make them scramble. You let your silence let them know that it's time to recalibrate because this ain't that and that ain't this. Okay, moving right along. Numero dos, number 2. Set consequences, please. This is where a lot of y'all falter. You got to set consequences for your boundaries and actually follow through. If you're not going to follow through, if you're not going to show them that you mean what you're saying, you say what you mean, what you doing? Shut the fuck up. Don't say nothing. Let them disrespect you, let them whatever, especially if you're not going to show and tell. If you're going to show them that you a punk, shut your punk ass up. You feel me? So we got to set consequences, baby, and we got to stand on business. We got to stand on business. Okay? We got to show these motherfuckers what it is. This is my favorite part. Okay? When I roll up my sleeves and I'm like, where did they get a load of me? Okay, this is my favorite part. Because I know I'm about to gag a motherfucker, who clearly thinks that I'm something that I'm fucking not. Okay, so now it's time for me to check your math. Okay, because 1 + 1 ain't equaling 2 over here. I'm coming with the red pen, my friend. Okay, so set consequences. Okay, boundaries without consequences are just suggestions. Boundaries without consequences are just suggestions. Punk ass suggestions. A suggestion box. Just, well, would you consider? Consider this. Think about this. Boundaries without consequences are just suggestions. Please remember that. Okay? People learn your boundaries are real. Okay? When they see consistent results for crossing them. Okay? When you touch a hot stove, the stove is hot. The stove ain't like, okay, let me turn off real quick. They about to touch me. No, it's like, oh, come on over here. Come on through. And you send your hand. And then you learn, that, okay, when I touch this stove, when I touch a hot stove, I hurt myself. I harm myself. There's harm done to me. I'm uncomfortable. It causes me a discomfort. Okay? So they stop doing it. It needs to be the same way. When people cross the line that you draw in the sand, it needs to be some shock. Kind of like a gate, electric gate. It needs to be a shock. You need to tell them about the gun line, boss. And then you see what happened when you cross the gun line, boss. So don't be no punk. And that's why I always say, especially when I do my boundary work with clients, my booths with my classroom, my workshops and everything, I always say, do not move forward in setting a boundary if you're not ready to back it up. It goes hand in hand. Okay? Because what a lot of people think going into setting boundaries or telling somebody how you feel about something, that they're going to be like, okay, and no problem. No, people are still going to test you. You'd be very hard pressed to meet someone. You set a boundary and they're like, okay, with no pushback. That's it. Okay? Because like I said, once you are past a certain age, 30, a lot of your character is set. This is who you are. You've had practice at this. Behavior modification rewards in doing this shit. That's why you're so comfortable with this. So one little pat on the hand, for a lot of people, that's nothing. So you have to be able to back that up. to set a consequence, to let this motherfucker know, okay, you didn't touch the hot stove, raw. Okay, to flame a motherfucker up. All right, so you have to have your consequence, or I'm telling you, people are just going to see it as a suggestion. People are just going to see it as a, well, yeah, it's a take it or leave it with her or him. Yeah, but I did it. I did whatever, and yeah, I had to push back once. I tried again, and we was back to normal. Okay, so I know that Nick's boo's number is 1, okay, or 2. People are going to continue to test you, and that's information when they continue to test you, because again, this shit is character. This is who they are. Okay, so they are going to continue to push back on you. So you got to be able to, oh, okay, let me show you better than I can tell you. Okay, so here are the consequences for that. Okay, since I told you what it was, I set the boundary, I let you know what it was. And from then on, you were moving in awareness. And as you were moving in awareness, you violated me again. There you go. That's it. No negotiations for the fucking boundaries. Stop negotiating your fucking boundaries, please. Por favor. So today, this is what I want you to do. Okay? I want you to pick one boundary that keeps getting violated. Okay? And then I want you to decide what happens next when somebody crosses it. What do you want to do? What do you want to happen? What are you going to do? How are you going to back that up? Okay? All right? And then I want you to stick to it when it happens again. Okay? Because it's not if, it's when. If it's something that keeps being violated, it's going to happen again. Okay? So next time somebody crosses that, what are you going to do about it? And I want you to stick to the shit. Really, Trick? I don't know if y'all heard that. I kept hearing him. Like, what? But yeah, and I want you to stick to that. I don't know if y'all could see him in my video. Okay? So yeah, so that's 2. Okay? Setting them motherfucking consequences. Okay? Putting that motherfucking robe on. Okay? And putting that gavel down on these hoes. All right? Next, stop asking permission for your needs. Stop asking permission. Like I said, your boundaries are not negotiation points. It is what it is. It stands on its own. That's it. These are the rules and the regulations to share my space. That's what a boundary is. These are the rules and the regulations to be able to share my space and my energy. Okay? This is what you can do and this is what you can't do. And baby, it's take it or leave it. This is what the fuck it is. You can't go into anybody's establishment disrespecting their shit and they like, well, they're gonna get you the fuck out of there. Okay, ASAP, no motherfucking Rocky. All right, so please keep that in mind, my boos. All right, so I want you to change. Okay, is it okay if, okay, or I'm going to, or I've decided to get that shit out of y'all vocabulary to now. That's asking for permission. Or I'm gonna tell you what just singes me, the just word. I just want to say, I'm just checking up on. I just feel like just. No, I feel. No, even this is what it is. I talk like, let me inform you. Talk with advocacy. Talk with authority. Don't be no fucking punk with your boundary. Remember your boundary. This is your security. Okay? You use this shit. You assert yourself with authority. You don't have to be disrespectful. No. Okay? But you, baby. Okay? So stop asking for permission. Okay? Because when you get into permission a tone, you give people the idea that they can grant it, yes or no. You give people the idea that they have authority over your boundary, whether it'll follow through or not. And that's not how it goes. You in control, not them. Now I want you to do this today. Okay? No, wait a minute. Let me back up. Asking for permission. Let me do my notes, baby. Okay. Nick, like, no, baby, you want to stick to our notes. Okay. Asking permission teaches people that your needs are negotiable and up for their approval. I know I just said that, but let me do my motherfucking bullet. Okay. It gives people the authority to think, oh, okay, yeah, oh, you're just, or you're coming with the hat in hands, you come in with the scarecrow, look, okay, they're giving me authority. Nick's boo is giving me authority, and they don't have that. I'm informing you. I'm letting you know this is what it is. Okay. You focus. All right. The boundary is about you, not them. This is not community property. This is not no motherfucking group project. Okay. This ain't no motherfucking duo kuo. Kit Kat bar, Twix package. This is you. All right. So this is what I want you to do today. Okay. I want you to notice when you're asking for permission for things that are actually your right to decide. I want you to change your language and watch how people respond differently. When you speak authoritatively, motherfucker, sit up straight. I'm gonna tell you when I'm activated and that manifested energy just comes out, and this is what it is. This is people, they don't give me no lip because they feel it. Okay? When you're speaking that shit, when you're taking authority, people feel that authoritative energy and they see, okay, Nick's boo means business. This ain't no motherfucking play. And like I said, if they still don't think that and they want to come back and touch that stove again, again. Every time they come, okay? Or you can do the opposite and give them the wind chill. I don't mind icing a motherfucker out either, because remember, your boundary, after you speak your boundary, we don't say nothing else. And with the consequences, we should be letting the natural consequences occur, that are going to come naturally. You step back and you let the natural consequences occur. Okay? The necessary occur. All right? Because it needs to occur, because clearly it's necessary. Come on, y'all. All right? Next, I want you to create a boundary script for repeat offenders. A lot of you all have people in your life who are repeat offenders with disrespecting your boundaries. They don't respect you. They don't respect your boundaries. They don't respect your space. Okay, no problem. We're going to do a motherfucking script. We're going to do a plan for them. Okay? I want you to have your responses ready before the situation happens, so they don't catch you off guard. Okay, if you have been dealing with repeat offenders, just like they know your number, you know their number too. Just like they study you, they know your behavior. They've watched you, you watch them too. Okay, so you can forecast how the fuck it's going to go, and you be ready for them. What are you going to do? What are you going to say? You be ready for them. Okay, and you hit them with it. You hit them with that motherfucking he. You hit them with that motherfucking ha. All right, let them know. Send them. All right. Okay, I'm going to tell you why this works. Okay. When you are prepared, you won't get caught off guard, and you won't cave into the pressure or their manipulation, because you're ready. You're armed. You're not knocked off your kilter. You're not knocked off balance. You're ready for them. You see them coming. Okay, and you already drawn. All right, bang, bang. All right. So come up with your script, baby, for them repeat offenders. Let them know we're not having that. And I can show you better than I can tell you. Okay, you ain't got to do all that talking. When you're doing the talking, you're negotiating. Okay, when you're not doing talking, you're showing. Okay, you're letting them sit with that. You're letting them think with that. Because when you're talking to them, when you're continuing to talk, especially with manipulators, you're feeding them energy, okay, to know how to pivot, how to this. But when you starve them motherfuckers, they don't know what to do. They scrambling. Don't say nothing else. Okay, we carry on. All right. Number 5. All right. I want you to remove yourself, okay, from situations that don't respect your boundaries. It's really that simple. You're grown. I don't give a fuck if you're not grown, because I've been teaching my kid this, okay, since he was a little boy. All right, since he was a little a young warthog. Okay, you can get the fuck up out of there. You can fucking leave. You don't have to fucking stay there. Okay, you don't have to sit there. All right, you always have the power to leave. Use it. A lot of times people do what they do because they know you'll sit there and take it. I've never wanted people to be comfortable. I've never wanted people to think that I won't fucking up and leave. No, 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 no. I've never wanted anybody to get comfortable to think that I won't motherfucking up and leave. Okay? Because I can show you better than I can tell you, one. You know? And two, I can show you better than I can tell you. Okay? When people get comfortable thinking that you will take their disrespect, baby, they're going to disrespect you. They're going to say, fuck your boundaries. They're going to do what they want to do. Okay? Because they got your number. All right? So, no, you have to show people, no, I will get the fuck up out of here. I'll just remove myself and I'll get the hell on with my life. Okay? And have a good life. Okay? And leave you here. And when you get the fuck on, you also show people that they're not worth fighting for. That's a motherfucking hit to the ego. I'm not going to go through the changes with you. I'm not going to give you what you think you're going to get from me, how you used to. I'm not that, and that ain't this. I'm just going to head on out. I'm just going to get on the fuck on. This ain't even worth it. You know, I don't have a lack mentality where I feel this is as good as it gets. I let myself out. Okay, motherfuckers look up and you be with somebody else. Cause that's the story of my motherfucking life. Motherfuckers look up. They look up. And it's, oh shit. Yeah, baby, this ain't no pressure. I've never thought in lack or scarcity. If this is the best you got in this disrespect and you want to continue to disrespect me, that's showing me, one, fuck you, Nick. Two, I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do. That's information. So why would and I value myself. I love myself. You know, I know that I'm worth a fuck. Why would I sit here? And it's billions of motherfuckers, are billions. And I'm a traveling gal, a dating traveling gal. Make it make sense. I'm gonna tell you, it don't make sense. Don't make dollars. It don't make motherfucking sense. I remove myself and I'll get the fuck on. Okay, to new, bigger, better. Okay. All right. Sometimes the most powerful boundary is your absence, especially when you know that your presence is powerful, when you know your presence is worth something. I know when I remove myself, people feel it. Ugh. Huh. You know what I mean? It's a haunting feeling, you know, especially when you've done me wrong. You know what I mean? So my absence is going to fuck you up more than if I stayed here and argued and bickered and no, 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 no. I get the fuck on. Okay. It shows that you won't stay in spaces where you're not respected. Like I said, you value yourself. You love yourself. You know, I don't have to sit here, baby. If this is the best you got, let me be on my way. I'll let myself out because I value myself, and I'm not gonna sit in places where I'm devalued. You know, the easiest thing that I can get is a man, okay, and a man that treats me nice, okay, because that's a baseline. All right, that's something you gonna do. You know, so I want you to do this today. I want you to give yourself permission to hang up the phone, leave the room, or end the conversation when your boundaries aren't being honored. I want you to give yourself permission to not be the bigger person. The bigger person gets no prize. This is not a bigger person situation. Who said you had to be the bigger person? That's not even a stipulation, you know, of conflict, of advocating for yourself. That's nowhere in the motherfucking guidebook. That's nowhere in the motherfucking I don't even know the word, the manual. Okay? Nowhere there. You know, so stop doing that. Give yourself permission to hang the motherfucking phone up. I love a click up, click up. and get the fuck on and do something, especially something to pour into me, to recalibrate myself, remove myself, show a motherfucker. I don't do all that talking, especially if I've already spoke. Okay, you're moving in awareness, knowing that I've said that to share space with me, you cannot do this. Okay, no problem. Disconnect. I have no problem with that because I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. I'm not going to sit here and work myself up in a tizzy. I got shit to do. Okay. And I can't be worked up in a tizzy. All right. I gotta be productive. All right. I can't be caught up on your shit. No problem. This ain't this. You can't do this for to help the equilibrium of peace here with me. You know what I mean? No problem. Remove myself. No fucking problem. So I want you to give yourself permission today. Hang the phone up. Leave the room. End the conversation. You know what? I'm done talking. You know what? This conversation is getting circular, so I'm going to leave this here. Good day. Click up, leave the room, whatever it is, in the conversation. I'm done talking about it. And if this person did well, I'm not done talking about it. Okay, well, let them keep talking about it and you move. You get the hell on. You leave. You remove yourself. They got autonomy to keep talking about it, but you got autonomy not to listen to it, not to subject yourself to it. And you drained and you burnt out. You gotta stop letting people dump that shit on y'all. I don't let people dump their shit on me. This ain't public storage. Okay? And even with public storage, you gotta pay a little something. You're not gonna do this shit for the motherfucking free. Okay? So yes, your presence is a privilege, it's not a right. That's first and foremost. When you sit there and you take people's disrespect, you let people know that your presence is a right to them. They have a right to your presence. They have a right to disrespect your energy. They have a right to say fuck you to your boundaries. But when you remove your presence, when people disrespect your boundaries, you let them know this is the privilege. And usually when you remove yourself, that's when people realize just how much of a privilege it is. They started to go through the motherfucking withdrawals. Okay, they tossing and turning in that motherfucking bed like motherfucking Jamie Foxx when he was playing Ray Charles and Ray. Okay, getting that monkey off their motherfucking back. When you remove yourself, your absence usually shows somebody your worth, your value, especially people who take you for granted. So remove yourself. Okay, but when you keep staying there, you keep staying there. Okay, and negative or positive attention, you're staying there and you're giving it to them. No, starve them. I all of a twist these hoes. All right, all of a twist them. No porridge, no food, no rations. All right. Let me give you a bonus reality check. Okay, I'm gonna close this out with this. If somebody gets mad at your boundaries, that tells you everything. If you set a boundary and somebody gets upset with it, that tells you everything. Everything. Fuck your care. Fuck your peace. Fuck your safety. Your dignity. You know what I mean? Your worth, your value. I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do. What? Fuck that. That's basically what they're saying. And that's information. And that's information. And that's information. So now you're moving in awareness. Now you're moving in awareness. So what are you gonna do? Okay, you better get that trash bag together. Okay, you better get that glad bag, that hefty 6-sack together and get them the fuck on out of here and drive on. Okay, there's always better waiting just around the river bend. Trust me. Trust the Venusian girl. Okay, always. Okay, miss one, next 15, one coming. Sometimes not even 15, 5. One pulling up right now as you're bringing this shit to the trash. Oh, here's one pulling up. Let them go. Okay, and go harder on a motherfucking hoe. Okay, that's the real deal, Holyfield. All right. If the message resonated with you, if this made you feel a little something, if this helped you, Okay, thumb me up. Okay, give me a little comment. Send this to somebody. Okay, I'm gonna release this to my Boo Crew members first, and then trickle it out. But yeah, y'all set them fucking boundaries. Stop letting people play in y'all motherfucking face. This is not Broadway. This ain't Othello. Don't let people play in your face. People know what they be doing. You need to know what you be doing. I'm your girl, a.Nichole. All right. Catch y'all on something else. I'm out. Bye bye.